You know, thanks to social media, we get to see all sorts of bizarre statements. So apparently, if my mother were to play Hogwarts Legacy, she would be transphobic. I don't think even my mother knows what a trans person is. Like, here in Eastern Europe, we don't talk about it that much. You know, we talk about less important stuff, like how we're going to pay for the gas prices, how we're going to put food on the table, should we stock up on oil or not? You know, like, unfortunately, we're not as privileged as to talk about the important things in the world. So I don't think my mother knows about it, nor do I think she knows about the opinions of J.K. Rowling, nor does she know about who this person is. But again, that's a good point. Who is this person? Apparently works at Warhammer 40k, Space Marine and Gotham Knight. I don't know who she is, but I'm willing to bet that people were to know who J.K. Rowling is. But that's transphobic to say, right? Isn't there like a little conflict of interests? Like if you're a game developer from a company and you're telling people, hey, don't buy this other video game, isn't there like a conflict? Just a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit of a conflict of interest. And by the way, you know what's interesting? The people from Hogwarts Legacy, they tried to distance themselves from J.K. Rowling, which, in my opinion, is really lame. Really, really lame. I mean, if you're going to make money off of the person, don't try to distance yourself. No, own it. Own it. You like the money, don't you? Well, if you like the money, you must like the person who helped you get the money. But no, it's like, honestly, like, I see these progressives bending themselves over like a pretzel in order to, like, justify how they're good people. Like, oh, yes, we're not transphobic, but like, we don't like J.K. Rowling because she is, but we're not. But we like her IP, and we like her things, and we're going to give her money, but, like, we're not. Like children they are, you know? They can't just grow a spine and say, look, we're a business. We don't give a shit about social issues. We just want to sell a product. Don't like it, don't buy it. That's how they should do, but whatever. That's too much to ask. So, yeah, do not contact these people. I don't know who they are. Do not contact the people we criticize on the internet. They are cry bullies. A cry bully is a person that when they get criticism, they pretend that it's worse. So when they get criticism, they pretend it's harassment, and they pretend harassment is actual violence. And then they use that in order to get money, and either money if they have a Patreon or clout. So do not contact them. I'm serious. If you're going to insist on playing the Wizard game, oh my god, the Wizard game. How should we call her game though? The Space Marine game, the Soldier game is what I'm going to call Warhammer 40k from now on. If you're going to insist playing the Soldier game, stop bending yourself into a pretzel trying to find a way to explain or justify doing so and have the conviction to say that transphobia is not a deal breaker for me. Well, actually, you know, it's in your interest for people to dissociate the author from the work of art. Like, how many people would you want to look at your game and associate it with your statement? Because what you're saying, I know, like, on social media it's not controversial, and on social media you're right, and blah, blah, blah. But, for example, do you want people from Eastern Europe who are a lot more bigoted, reactionary, conservative to look at what you're saying? Because the people in Eastern Europe, I'm willing to tell you, they know who J.K. Rowling is, but they have no idea who you are. So would you want to associate you with this game and make an ideological purchase? Do you want all right-wingers to make an ideological purchase when they look at Warhammer 40k? Because I don't think you'd like that game, you know? Like, I'm going on various forums where gamers and other enthusiasts are like, I'm telling you, they're not very progressive. I mean, the number of progressives in the video gaming world is very small. It is true that they have positions of power in various publications, on various forums as moderators, as Jannies. That is true. But the overwhelming high number of consumers, the person giving money to buy a product, is not very progressive. And trust me, you don't want to play this game. What you want is people to look at a video game and say, this is a game I like, or this is a game I don't like. You don't want them to actually do the ideological background of the people making that game. Just saying. Especially when you're a socialist. Do you know what socialists did to people in Eastern Europe? Do you know what they did to the Polish neighbors from Romania? Do you know what they did to Romanians? Those thugs, those criminals that stole the business and the land of my ancestors and then mismanaged it and caused famines? But anyway, right. So, of course, she's a socialist that has an iPhone. And she's like, oh, yes, well, capitalism forces me to have an iPhone. What an American take. What an American thing to say. Only an American that is so privileged and isolated in his little continent, in his little California. Even if you're not in California, this is California mentality where you're completely ignorant of the rest of the world. Only that type of person would say something like this. So first of all, capitalism isn't forcing you to have an iPhone. Just like capitalism isn't forcing you to have wheels on your car. This is just the fact that you live in the age of 2022, where technology has advanced to the point where everyone around the world, well, not everyone, but most people around the world have smartphones, regardless of the form of government their countries take. So even in North Korea, which I would say is not a very capitalist place, they got smartphones. I know, hard to believe, but they do. Even in Zimbabwe, they have smartphones. Even in China, they have. Everywhere, they have smartphones. Now, there are different brands of smartphones. This is the benefit of being a capitalist, right? Like, you can choose different smartphones. Why do you choose the company which is in a scandal right now for using child labor in China, when you can choose another company? Why do you go for the brand recognition when a cheaper phone would work just as well? This is why people are calling you a hypocrite. And I noticed a lot of socialists do this. This is what woke capitalism is all about. This is the pure American capitalism at its finest. It's companies that pretend to care about social justice selling a product to people that pretend to hate capitalism. No, you love capitalism, Ashley. You are enamored with it. You are infatuated with it. You are the biggest capitalist that I have known. You are a consumer. And even worse, you are encouraging consumerism. I mean, you produce luxury items. Warhammer 40K, Space Marine 2 is a luxury good. People can live without it. It's not necessary. And not only that, I am willing to bet it's very harmful for the planet. I mean, think about just how much it's required to have a gaming PC. Like how many resources are required to create a gaming computer, how much electricity it consumes. It is the peak wasteful capitalism. But like, this is what Americans do, you know? Like, they're very capitalistic, and then they're the same ones that complain about it. I find them absolutely fascinating. And then they also say stuff like, let's not cast cis white men in stuff for a year and see what happens just for fun. People would watch South Korean entertainment, I guess. People would watch Japanese entertainment. I mean, you know, like we. Well, you're not we. You're just an American. There's other countries making entertainment around the world. Just saying. In fact, that's what people are doing. Like, Hollywood is being so bad that people are going for actual diversity. Like, South Korean films, Squid Games, Train to Busan, Kingdom, and many others are really great movies and TV shows that I wholeheartedly recommend for people watching. America is incapable of producing good entertainment anymore. Sorry, cishet white dudes, comics don't belong to you. Well, see, that's the thing. Like, they actually do. Like, if I buy a comic, it literally belongs to me. Like, if I buy it and you take it away, I can accuse you of theft. But secondly, you're right. You know, like, if you don't cater to me, I will buy a different product. Like, comic books aren't essential. They're not like electricity, water, or food. I can live without them, so I'm going to manga. Like, the Japanese people are willing to cater to me, so that's fine, you know? Like, I have money. I have cash. I'm willing to give it away. Just take it from me. Just take it, but all you have to do is to cater to me. Like, you gotta convince me that you put in the labor to take my money. And if you're going to say, no, we're not interested, I mean, that's fine. That's perfect. I will go to the person that is interested. Oh my God, like, the people on Twitter, holy shit. Jesus Christ. Oh, like, Ashley is in desperate need of an education. I don't know what they did at the university where she went, but they pretended to educate her. They did the opposite. Like, no, she's in desperate need. Ashley, contact me. I'll educate you. I'll teach you about economic market forces, supply and demand. We can do a marketing course in various demographics and how to advertise based on age groups and gender and whatnot. Like, we can do that, Ashley. It's fine. By the way, guys, don't contact her. If she contacts me, that's fine. But you guys don't contact her. I'm not joking. I'm not kidding. Yeah. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the comments section. This was absolutely hilarious.